Today we'll visit with two Arlington ISD teachers who won the coveted Aware Award here on Conversations. Welcome to Conversations. I'm your host, Aisha Ramos. The Aware Foundation mission is to encourage innovation and excellence in Arlington ISD classroom instruction, and for the last 26 years, they've been honoring some outstanding teachers at their annual Spring Awards banquet. The name Aware stands for Arlington will award and recognize educational excellence. On today's show, we'll feature two of the teachers. 6th grade teacher Tena Phelps from Sherrod Elementary, the winner in the 5th through 6th grade category, and kindergarten teacher Patti Belknap from Johns Elementary, the pre-K to 1st grade winner. We'll start with the Aware winner in the pre-K through 1st grade category. From Johns Elementary, kindergarten teacher Patti Belknap.
So I went to North Texas State University, which is of course now UNT, and at that point I was just majoring in elementary education. I had always wanted to be a teacher. I could remember my kindergarten teacher, whose name was Mrs. Verson, in Park Forest, Illinois. And at that point in Illinois, you could go to school if you were 4. And so my birthday was in October, so I actually started when I was 4 and went to kindergarten. And, you know, you didn't go to daycare or anything like that back then. So that just, I think, opened a world of school for me, and I really, really loved it. I had a great 8th grade history coach, had a fabulous senior English teacher. My minor is in English literature, probably because of Betty McLean. And all of my high school and whatnot was all in Dallas. And so I went to North Texas, and during my junior year, they started a new program where the state of Texas required that teachers were going to have to be certified in order to teach kindergarten. And I remembered how much I liked kindergarten. And I thought, well, I'll do that. And so I took an extra 12 hours in order to become a kindergarten teacher, which helped me secure my first job, which was at a Catholic school in Dallas called John the 23rd in Oak Cliff. And I was offered the position basically because I was a certified kindergarten teacher, and the teacher that had been there before was not. At that point in 1975, there was no curriculum, no expectations, no help, and no class size limits. I had 33 5-year-olds and honestly had no clue what to do. My student teaching was just, you know, a few short weeks in the spring, and I thought, well, how'd they get them to the place they were at? So I started asking a lot of questions and talked to the 1st grade teacher and found out what she did. And so I thought, okay, well then we need to do these things in order to get them to 1st grade. That probably began my career of writing curriculum, which I've done for this district several times. But I always knew that the kids could do just a little bit more than what their expectations were. That first year they were there all day. We had a fabulous time. One of the children from that class actually became my flower girl when I married 3 years later. And I was given the pleasure of doing a reading at her wedding 20 years later. So that, you know, was the beginning of kindergarten for me. I taught at that school for 7 years. Loved that experience. Honestly didn't pay a dime, you know, really. It was sort of, my very first salary was $6,000 a year, paid over 10 months. So when I hear the starting salaries now, I just go, really? Because I've come a long way. After the 7th year, I had my son, and so I stayed home for 3 years and raised him. And then circumstances led me to go back into teaching. I went to Dallas Independent School District because I had contacts there. They also had full-day kindergarten, which, though I lived in Arlington and my son went to school in Arlington, I really believed in full-day kindergarten. And so I went and taught at Thomas L. Marsalis, again in Oak Cliff, for another 15 years. At that point, Arlington finally had a bond election and decided to have full-day kindergarten. And it was time to come home. Now, my son wasn't very happy because that was the year that he graduated from Martin and was leaving, and he goes, "Great, Mom, you're finally coming home, and you know, I'm going to A&M." So I was hired here by Lisa Strickland, and 6 months later she was named as the principal of Belknap. We then were going to get a new principal, and I was not a part of that committee. I'd only been here 6 months. And the principal ended up being Tammy Rogers, who my son and her son Adam had known each other and been best friends since the first grade. Had no idea Tammy had applied here. Tammy was an assistant principal at Blanton at the time. She offered to hire me at Blanton, and I said, "Oh no, we're friends. We shouldn't work together." And then, of course, she came here. It's been fabulous working with someone that's also been your friend. But yet, we keep that professional demeanor that we need to. I don't tell her things that I wouldn't tell any other administrator that I'd ever worked for. And in the same token, she doesn't tell me things that, as an administrator, she should not. Tammy's given me a lot of leadership opportunities, of which I'm extremely grateful for. I was already team leader when she got here, so I have remained team leader. I've watched John's grow from 6 sections of kinder to 9 sections of kinder when we had 1,200 kids, and there was 14 portables outside, to back down to 6 sections. So we've seen a lot of teachers come and go. The teacher next door has been here the longest with me, and she's been here for 11 years. And so she will now become the team leader. So basically I've spent my whole life teaching 5-year-olds. But I'm about to get another kid because my son is now going to bless me with a grandson. And so I'm going to be a grandmother at the end of September. By no means am I going to raise this child, but I feel like I can use my talents with him. And, you know, I'm involved in a lot of other things, and I'm going to go do some of those things and enjoy life, travel with my husband, do some fun things, yeah. And you take away all of them, would you have any left? Okay.
Right.
Good job, Ann. Let's see. What color do you want?
Green.
Green. Very good, except that I don't know whose paper it is because we forgot to write our name. So let's write our name, and you may put that in your locker, and then you read the math books, okay?
What is your teaching philosophy?
That every child is an individual, that every child can make progress, have high expectations for all of them, and I celebrate every success that my kids make. I'm constantly telling them how smart they are, and that they can't say can't, that they have to say, I don't know how, but can't is not a word. We can only say can, and we can. Our objectives, our learning objectives are all, I can do this, I can do that.
You're retiring this year. What are you going to miss most about teaching?
I'm going to miss the kids. I'll probably cry. I have a little boy in this room this year. Mom died 5 months before school started. He could not write his name. He didn't know a single letter. He didn't know a number. I mean, really nothing. And he's English as a second language as well. He can read, he can write, he can add, he can subtract, and he's going on to first grade. That I will miss. Kindergarten is one of those grades that They come in like little lumps of clay. And through what you do, they become real people by the end. I'll miss that for the rest of my life.
Congratulations, Patti, and thank you for your years of service to our district. Enjoy retirement. Our next Aware winner is 6th grade teacher from Sherrod Elementary, Tena Phelps.
I'm a product of the Arlington Independent School District. I went to Wimbish Elementary and Nichols Junior High and Lamar High School. I graduated from Lamar. I worked at First City Bank in downtown Arlington and thought maybe I don't want to go to college. And our youth director at our church talked me into going to East Texas Baptist and auditioning for music scholarship. I went down there and auditioned, and then I went shopping because I really wasn't interested. And I came back and there was a ceremony and my name was being called when I came in, and so I go down there and I take the envelope and I'm thinking, oh, this is cool. And I sat by our youth director and he goes, do you know what you have? And I said, an envelope. And he goes, do you know what's in the envelope? And I go, no. He goes, open it. And it was a scholarship, a full vocal music scholarship. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this? And so that's when I came back, talked to my parents, and I decided I was going to go to East Texas Baptist University and major in music. I did. I graduated and came back and got an interview with Tilly Bergen, and she sent me to Bob Copeland to talk to him about music, and got hired at Sherrod Elementary. And I taught music for 9 years at Sherrod. Then I decided, hey, I'd like to go into 6th grade. So I went into 6th grade and taught there for 22 years. So I had been at Sherrod for 31 years, the only school I've ever taught at until now. And I have decided to go to Corey's Fine Arts Dual Language Academy. And Dr. Varnell has asked me to teach piano there. And so I've decided to kind of go that circle back around where it started in music, and I maybe will be ending in music in my career.
You were previously nominated for the Aware Award back in 2003. Was there a difference in the process that you noticed?
There was a difference in the process. In 2003, 2004, when I was nominated, I got phone calls from the Aware Committee. I hadn't met any, and they would call you on the phone and try to schedule a time to come in and observe. So you hadn't met them, and they come in and they observe. But this year, you had a meeting night where we all came over to the Junior League building, and we sat at tables with your category, and the Aware people were there. And so you got to meet them, and you got to meet everybody that was nominated in your grade level. So that was really nice because you knew who was coming in your room. You could put a face with the name. They also text you to schedule because, you know, phones were not always available. And so the texting was nice because you could just answer them quickly.
During the Aware dinner, when Alice Peterson was reading accolades of the 5th and 6th grade winner, at what point did you know it was you?
Whenever she said a lawyer and I have a law firm, I kind of knew then that it might be me because he comes back to see me all the time.
A former student said, to this day, I still go see this teacher at least twice a year, and it has been over 2 decades since I was in that classroom. This teacher gave us the tools we needed to not only excel in elementary, junior high, and high school, but also in college and graduate school. This teacher taught me the important lesson of self-discipline, an absolute necessity when I was going through law school.
I was scared. I'm thinking, uh-oh, I'm fixing to have to get up, I think. And again, because I am that background person, that's hard to do. I was excited. It's scary for me to get up in front of people.
So next year, you get to give a speech. Have you thought about what you were going to say?
I'm very shy, so giving a speech is going to be really hard for me. It's going to take a while for me to write it. I thought about even singing part of it because I'm vocal, but not everybody would probably want to hear me sing. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm real nervous already about it, and that's in May.
I noticed that part of your classroom time was spent in a very interesting way.
I love to get things moving in my room. We don't just sit in our chairs. We move around a lot. And one of the ways I do my math vocabulary is I like to have them stand in their chairs and they scream the words at the top of their lungs. But you have to be able to understand them. That's what I tell them. It's not about the screaming, it's about understanding what you're screaming. And they show hand signs, and once we learn it and they know it, it's so cool because when they take any kind of a test and it says something like product, you see them just kind of saying it to themselves, so they know their definitions, they learn better doing this, they're involved in their learning, and they're also owning their learning.
Numerator. Ready, and
Numerator! Numerator is the top number of a fraction! The numerator tells how many we are counting!
Next, Gabby. Product.
Product! Product is the answer you get when you multiply! The product of 6 and 2 is 12!
Buy-in. Prime. Ready, and
Prime! A prime number has 2 factors. 1 in itself. 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11 are prime numbers. 1 is not prime or composite.
You are also in charge of the live morning newscast each morning at Sherrod. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The morning newscast at Sherrod was brought to Sherrod Elementary with the principal, Mrs. Curl. She had a dream of having a newscast, just like TV. And we went and visited some schools in Irving and came back, and Spence and Susan Anderson and a lot of people helped put it together and get the equipment and get it started. And so now the kids come in every morning at 7:30 in the morning, and they get their shirts on that say Sherrod Shark Tank, and they do the broadcast. We have anchors, girl, boys, it's all mixed, and they do just like TV, and they tell the news for the day, the morning announcements, the weather, thought for the day. The principal usually comes in sometime and makes a live announcement or something he wants the kids to think about. And the vice principal also. We announce birthdays on the morning announcements. And it's really cool. They make a mistake, they learn what TV really is like. You're live, so you know, you just go with it. It's been a great learning tool. We do have some Sherrod Sharks that have graduated from high school and pursued, and they're in the news business.
Good morning, Sharks.
Good morning. Who's hungry?
I am, and I would like to see the lunch menu.
Doing this interview and the ones you had to do through the AWARE process has been hard on you, and I appreciate you sitting down with me.
Thank you.
Because as you have expressed, you prefer being a background person.
Yeah, I am a background person. I'm not one that likes to be out in front. It's not about me. It's about other people. It's about kids. It's about things, and I like to be the background. I like to help it happen. Even when I led choirs, I would have the kids do the bows without me because it's about them. It's their performance. It's their work.
Thanks, Tina, and good luck on your next chapter over at Corey Elementary. On our next show, we'll feature the other 3 AWARE winners. Fallon Hansen from Butler Elementary, Rhonda Hay from Carter Junior High, and Becca Bichelle from Arlington High School. I would like to thank the AWARE Foundation for their continuing support of our Arlington ISD educators. As a 2007-2008 AWARE winner myself, I can assure you how great an honor this really is and how much time is spent by the AWARE Selection Committee, Foundation Board, Advisory Board, and to all the sponsors that make this truly a great reward award. I would like to thank you for watching as well. I'm Aisha Ramos, and we'll see you next time here on Conversations.